What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another review. Today's review is going to be for the newest war/disaster flick from one of the worst directors working today, Roland Emmerich, and that is Midway. This movie has a gigantic cast involved in it. It's got actors like Ed Skrein, Woody Harrelson, Luke Evans, Nick Jonas, Aaron Eckhart, Dennis Quaid, and so many other people that I'm missing. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. This film centers around the attack on Pearl Harbor. These Navy soldiers with fighter pilot jets and submarines and ships are all battling in the Battle of Midway. After Pearl Harbor went down, the Navy is about to attack the Japanese forces who destroyed Pearl Harbor, and it's basically all about the Battle of Midway. Roland Emmerich, this guy is seriously continuing to make these disaster movies with big CGI effects, and it's really getting sick and tiring. I have not enjoyed a film that this man has directed. The only one I do like is Independence Day. That's about it. Independence Day is such a cheesy, over-the-top action flick. And the rest of his other disaster films are just atrocious. So going into this movie, I was not excited at all for it. The trailers did nothing for me. It really felt like a Hollywoodized version of the Pearl Harbor attack. Felt like something Michael Bay would do, just like Pearl Harbor. And I gotta be 100% honest with you guys. Midway is one of the worst war films I have seen as of recently. I really wouldn't call this much of a war movie. It is a disaster movie as well, but this is definitely one of the worst I've seen in a while, man. Ugh, this film is a rough one to get through. I'm embarrassed. What was the point of this movie? This movie is really sloppy, man. The cast involved in here. Why would they even take part in this? There's so many damn good, talented actors in this movie. Why would they take part in something like this, man? There's a lot of issues I have with this movie. The best part is the production design. Just like in all of Roland Emmerich's movies, his production design looks really great for an IMAX experience. So in terms of production value, this movie is worth seeing on the big screen. I don't really think so, but really the production design, I would say, is the best part of the movie. And that's the only positive I have. That's it. So let's talk about the negatives and why I think this is one of the worst films of the year. Every character in this movie is bland, hollow, and boring. Woody Harrelson, Patrick Wilson, Luke Evans, Ed Skrein, Dennis Quaid. So many great people involved with this film. Aaron Eckhart as well. 100% of this movie is action and exposition. It's characters standing in a room and talking. Characters sitting down and talking. One person standing up and another sitting talking and walking around and talking. Given non-stop exposition. Non-stop exposition. Explaining what they're going to do to the Japanese forces, what they're going to do on Pearl Harbor, and then there's action, 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 then exposition, exposition, exposition. It's non-stop. To make a great war movie that is based on real events, you gotta show it in a brutal, realistic way, but also have people to root for. There's really not much of character growth or people to root for, really, because all the characters in this movie are really hollow and wooden. And all these actors are trying their best, but they're reading a script off of a Roland Emmerich directed movie. The action in this movie is really boring as well. The Pearl Harbor stuff is not really interesting at all. And it really starts off quick. Whenever movies like this blow their load really early on, the movie is just a mess from there on forth. And that is what this movie felt like. Once we get to the Pearl Harbor stuff and the final action sequence, I just didn't care. Just didn't care. Way too many gunshot special effects. It felt more like a Star Wars movie straight out of the prequels than a war movie. And it really just doesn't feel at all like a real historical event at all. It just feels like bloated action and bloated and nonstop exposition. And it's not a story you can get emotionally invested with. And Roland Emmerich just really does this with all his movies he does. 2012, Independence Day Resurgence, Godzilla, just takes an iconic event and just shoves the action straight up your freaking face and shoves CGI up your face. I did not like this movie at all, and I'm not even going to waste my time talking about it much more, because this is not worth seeing at all. This is one of the worst films I've seen this year. Terrible action, fine production overall, but this is definitely not a one I would definitely rewatch. On my rating scale, I'm going to give Midway a 1 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, that was my thoughts on Midway. Have you guys seen Midway, and what were your thoughts on it? Did you love it, think it was okay, or did you absolutely hate it? Let me know down below. Thank you guys as always for watching this review. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.